on that good shit. You know, you think you just put a motor in it, everything's going to go back how it was and run perfect. Absolutely not. So, still working through some issues. Got on E85. It's idling so much better than it was before. Definitely, I think the large injectors on pump gas while we're seating it just doesn't idle very good. But once you gave it like revs, it went through the RPM range pretty good, pretty smooth. But now, doesn't want to get on the trans brake. So, playing with some ideas right now, going back and forth with Lund, but really, it got on the trans brake before, so it should get on the trans brake. But, you know, that's how things go. So, we're going to try this other file and report back. This truck really pisses me off sometimes. Woo! This truck been kicking our ass. So, been pretty much working on it last 3 or 4 nights, super late. And we got the truck running. On pump gas, it was fine. Got it switched over to E85. It was running fine, but once we tried to get it on the trans brake, it just would knock it on the 2-step. So I made sure all the watt box settings hadn't changed for some reason, and sent a log to Lund, and he's like, man, the oil pressure's not data logging. I'm like, man, that's super weird, because the gauge on the dash was actually working. Well, working. I thought it was working. Come to find out later, what it would do, it was go right to position, and so that means it wasn't working, because before if I did key on, it would go right to the same spot and it wouldn't move once the truck was started. So oil pressure wasn't working, which means the VCT wasn't working. So oil pressure was working, but the computer wasn't seeing it. So the VCT wasn't working, so it had no chance of getting up on the 2-step. So we chased it for a night. We fixed an oil leak we had, and then we chased it another night, and we finally we started to ohm out the wires, and come to find out the oil pressure sensor was bad. So odd. Brand new truck. So I don't know what happened, but we'll keep an eye on that. But the oil pressure sensor went bad. So that fixed our issue. So we swapped that over this morning. Went right up on the 2-step. And so now we're putting the truck back together, because we still had the front end off. We had the bumper off, the headlights, the grill. Didn't have the catch can lines hooked up yet. A couple smaller things. We had to put the diaper back on because we were fixing the leak. So we're putting the truck back together right now. We're supposed to leave right now to Dallas, which we could get there later today. I would like to get there at a decent time, so we're not rushing, because I still got to go pack, get the trailer ready, and get ready to go. But got it worked out. Everything's working so far. So we're going to try and hit this rental tomorrow, and I guess we'll pick it up when we get there. Okay, yeah! Damn! Still a slow 60 foot. 131. Went 530 to the 8th at 132. 830, 162.9, almost 163. Let's go! Best mechanic, worst cameraman. Stick to building engines. Guys, went an 8.2 on the last one, 165 mile an hour. 60 foot still sucks, so we got some work to do there, but we're out of shocks. We gotta get some tighter valve and shocks. They're just too loose. So, new PB, which is badass. We just got the truck running this week, so I'm really excited. We qualified for TX2K. I got the confirmation while we were here. I emailed Peter, so we were set up to go in the streetcar class. But holy shit, boy, we better turn it up. We're gonna get gapped in that class. So everything looks good. Yeah, we just keep working on it. I really want to go to another rental and work on the short track time, try and get the 60 foot back, because this thing should run 7s with a teen 60 foot. So I'm really happy with it. It's badass. Shout out Lund Racing. Shout out Coyote Direct, man. Those guys, they built some shit over there. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We had a really good weekend in Dallas. Look, I got a haircut. I got shaved up when I got back. People were saying it's getting a little scruffy, but anyways, we had a really good weekend in Dallas. Private rental at TJ's. Obviously, it was not the last chance, but one of the last chances for me to qualify for the streetcar class for TX2K, because you got to run a 849, and previously we had only run an 853, I believe. So wasn't allowed into the streetcar class yet. And last year I raced, but I raced in heavyweight, so that's different. You don't have to really qualify for heavyweight. But this year I wanted to play in the streetcar class because, yes, there's really fast guys in there that run like high 6s, low 7s, but there's also like a lot of in-between cars too. So they break it up into qualifiers, and you race people within the same time frame, whatever they deem that day based on qualifying. So anyways, we went out, and yeah, we qualified. The truck went an 830 right off the rip out of the trailer. Went a 134 60 foot, went like 540 to the 8th at 132, and then it went like an 830 out the back at like 162 163. So, and that was actually, so I was on a softer leave than previously, and on like a little less boost up top than previously as well. However, it did, we don't know why, but I think it's something in the AMS, but it boost crept pretty hard in first gear, but then it came right back. It caught itself the way that we have the AMS set up. So made some changes, and I wanted to really attack the 60 foot and kind of throw the power in a little bit faster. And so I tried that on the second pass, and it pulled the wheels up a little bit, and then the truck kind of unsettled when it came down, and so it just spun right there right after the 60 foot, kind of unloaded the rear. So then I decided to just slow down the ramp just a little bit, but try and leave on more. And what I realized was that the watt box was it's reading, I had this happen on the Gen 3s also, but the watt box doesn't read exactly the exact same RPM that the actual truck is seeing. So I was commanding 45, and it was really only making like 42, 42.50. So on the third pass, it only went like a 131 60 foot, and I commanded more boost, but actually I needed more RPM. I thought I had enough RPM, and I didn't, because it's not reading exactly how it's supposed to. So only went a 131 60 foot, so picked up a little bit, but not much. But it did go in the 530s in the 8th at 135, and then I went out the back at 825, 826 at 165. Still the same boost up top, actually. So when first of all, I was really happy with the truck, how it did. But when I reviewed the mile per hour, I realized that actually the first time we went out, so we went to FL2K with the FFRE motor, and we only made like 2 or 3 passes, because that's when they had all the hurricanes going on. So we really only got, I think we got 2 total passes, maybe 3. So I really never got to lean on the truck at all. So then we went to a private rental after that, and we actually had some sputtering issues on the first pass. The truck was sputtering, and we thought it was spark plug related. So, we changed the gap, went tighter, didn't really make a difference. So then then we went to another outing, and that's when we actually hurt the motor catastrophically. And we had put different plugs in it completely and upgraded the turbos, did a few small things. And so what I realized is, looking at some of the old slips and old logs, is that the engine was actually already hurt. So that first time it sputtered, I'm pretty sure we actually hurt the motor back then, because the traps just did not make sense with the boost levels, because the boost levels were actually the same. And then there was a couple passes where we actually tried more boost the second outing. So I know that the motor was actually already hurt previously. How we hurt it, I don't know. I think now that I know that it was hurt prior, I would definitely lean a lot more towards the VDE. So if you build your Gen 4, delete that shit. We've always had it electronically turned off in the tune, but actually mechanically removing the VDE rockers is what you really need to do. And even not building it, you probably should, if you're going to spin some RPM. I'd probably recommend, deleting it, because it's just a failure waiting to happen. So yeah, the truck is running really good. Not going to make too many changes before 2K, because it's just, we're so close. I don't want to change too much. I definitely need tighter front shocks. I've had, the last couple times I've been out, the front shocks have been maxed out. That's all they can do, and the front end still wants to pick up. So they're pretty much maxed out, which they're Keltrack Vikings, which they've worked okay, but with the power level, they can't hold it down. I could add limiters, but it needs a nicer set of shocks, because if you're maxed out on the shocks and you're using limiters, you have no adjustability. So I'm gonna get some tighter, a little bit better shocks for the front. I probably need better shocks on the rear also, but they're still working pretty decent. I'm sure we're gonna be out of shocks soon in the rear, but I have been a 119 60 foot in the truck. I don't know if I'll be able to do that at 2K. Sometimes the track's hit or miss there. Obviously, it's a private rental when I did that, but the truck has a lot of potential. So that last pass was only on like 25, 26 pounds of boost. A pretty aggressive ramp, but the leave was pretty soft, because like I said, the RPMs were reading just a little bit off. So the truck has a lot more in it it could definitely run a 7. It could definitely go pretty far into the 7s without doing anything drastic. So I think if I get better front shocks, I can leave on a little more RPM and really throw some boost at it. I think it's going to be exactly what I had built it for. I really originally built the truck just to run 850s really consistently, and then you know how it is. You run 850s, you're like, oh, let's just push it a little more. So right now it has actually exceeded my expectations, but it runs really good and really smooth at this power level, and it's really not much. 26 pounds is not much on a sleeve to no ring motor turbo 400. So we got plenty of fuel system. We got to change one of the method nozzles, try and get the intercooler a little cooler. It's definitely starting to get up there. We already have one single nozzle on it. I think it's a 25 GPH on it. So we're going to go up on the nozzle size and try and get a little more meth in there to help cool the intercooler, because it's just maxed out. It's been maxed out and it needs more. So maybe later on we'll have to upgrade the actual intercooler itself. I really don't want to go to an air to water because I'm trying to keep some weight off the truck. And air to water is just super heavy, but they are really efficient and they work really well. I just hate carrying around ice and shit. And you can't go M1 on a stock computer, like full M1 you can't do on a stock computer. So, not yet at least. So, options are, we're just gonna put a bigger meth nozzle. Maybe we'll do a dual nozzle setup, but that's pretty much, like I said, I'm pretty much gonna clean up some stuff, but I'm pretty much gonna leave it how it is for TX2K for the most part. Because I also need to get a cage in that damn truck. So, yeah, running 820s at 165 miles an hour. I mean, the truck drives very true and straight, but it's just not safe to be doing it without a cage and harnesses and everything. So, we're going to get a cage in the truck here shortly. And, we'll just keep chipping away. But we are qualified for TX2K. We're taking the truck. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully, we'll see you guys out there. Thank you so much for supporting Coyote Direct. And for all you that thought I was stupid for buying a two-wheel drive, there you have it.